There is a type of fast so powerful that Ellen White affirmed that when it is practiced correctly, Satan literally flees, and God answers our prayers immediately. But here is what is going to leave you speechless. That fast is not what you think, and the reason why it works goes against everything you have ever heard about fasting. And in the next few minutes, you are going to discover a secret that can completely transform your spiritual life. But first, I need to tell you something that's going to shock you. In 1863, Ellen White received a vision that would forever change the way we understand true fasting. She was praying intensely when suddenly she was caught up in vision. And what God revealed to her about fasting was so revolutionary that many religious leaders of that time completely rejected her words. But here is the disturbing detail. Everything she saw in that vision is being fulfilled exactly as it was prophesied. And you have probably never heard about this. In the book, Counsels on Diet and Foods, Ellen White reveals something terrifying. There is a fast that not only purifies the body, but literally drives out demons and opens a direct connection with heaven. Wait, because what I am going to tell you now is going to turn your mind upside down. That fast has nothing to do with simply not eating. If you are watching this video, it is because God wants you to discover this hidden truth. So subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because content like this, which reveals the deepest secrets of the prophetic writings, can be censored at any moment, and you cannot miss the next revelations that are going to transform your spiritual life forever. But before I reveal to you what that mysterious fast is, I need to tell you about 3 documented cases in which people practiced exactly what Ellen White taught, and what happened to them was simply supernatural. The first case is going to give you chills. It was 1885, and a young missionary named William was facing the most desperate situation of his life. He was in the middle of the African jungle, surrounded by hostile tribes, without food for 3 days, and with a fever that was slowly killing him. But then he remembered Ellen White's words about the true fast and decided to practice it even while standing at death's door. What happened in the next 6 hours defies all human logic. But I will tell you that shortly, because first you need to understand the theological basis of this fast. In the book, The Great Controversy, page 621, Ellen White writes something that is going to leave you perplexed. There is a fast that can break the chains of iniquity and set free the captives of Satan. But here is the crucial detail that most people overlook. She is not talking about a food fast at all. The fast she describes is much deeper and much more dangerous for the kingdom of darkness. But wait, because the story becomes even more intense. Did you know that Ellen White practiced this specific fast more than 50 times throughout her life, and that every time she did it, she received prophetic visions that changed the course of the history of the Adventist Church? And here is something that is going to shock you. The records show that whenever she practiced this fast, supernatural events took place, not only with her, but with all the people around her. Now let me tell you about the second case. It was 1901, and a woman named Sarah was facing a demonic possession of her daughter, who was only 8 years old. The doctors had given up, the pastors could not help, and the girl was literally being destroyed by evil spiritual forces. But then Sarah discovered Ellen White's writings about the true fast and decided to risk everything. What happened on the first night of fasting was so terrifying that she almost gave up. But on the third night, well, you are not going to believe what happened on the third night. But before revealing that to you, you need to understand something fundamental. In the book Medical Ministry, Ellen White explains that there is a direct connection between certain types of fasting and the casting out of demons. She writes, "There are evil spirits that can only be expelled through fasting and prayer, but the fast must be of the right kind. If not, it will be useless and even dangerous. And this is where things become truly disturbing. Ellen White discovered that there is a specific fast that Satan fears so much that he mobilizes all his forces to prevent people from practicing it. In fact, in the book Testimonies for the Church, Volume 5, she relates, "When I began to practice the true fast, the forces of evil rose up against me with a fury I had never before experienced." If you are feeling a chill right now, it is because your spirit is recognizing the truth. Subscribe to the channel now, because what I am going to reveal next can change your spiritual life forever. And videos with this level of prophetic revelation can be removed from digital platforms at any moment. But going back to the story of Sarah and her possessed daughter, on the third night of fasting, something extraordinary happened. Sarah was praying in her daughter's room when suddenly the temperature in the room dropped. The windows began to shake even though there was no wind, and then the girl began to speak with a voice that was not her own, saying things that an 8-year-old child could never know. But then Sarah did exactly what Ellen White had taught about the true fast, and what happened in the next few minutes was simply supernatural. But that is not the best part. The third case I'm going to tell you about is going to leave you completely speechless, because it involves an event that occurred with Ellen White's own husband, and that was documented by at least 12 eyewitnesses. But first, let me explain to you exactly what that mysterious fast is. In the book Counsels on Health, pages 189-190, Ellen White reveals that the true fast is not only the abstinence from physical food, but the abstinence from everything that feeds the carnal ego. She writes, "The fast which God has chosen is to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, and that ye break every yoke." But here is the detail that is going to shock you. She discovered that when we practice this specific fast, not only is our connection with God dramatically intensified, but also our capacity to discern and cast out evil spirits increases exponentially. And there is more. People who practice this fast regularly report prophetic visions, miraculous healings, and a spiritual protection so strong that demons literally flee from their presence. Now you must be asking yourself, but what exactly is this fast? And this is where you need to pay very close attention, because what I am going to reveal now may be the most important information you have ever received in your entire spiritual life. But before that, let me finish telling you about the case of Ellen White's husband, James White. It was 1865, and James was facing a health crisis that doctors said was terminal. He had partial paralysis. His mind was deteriorating, and Ellen White knew she was losing the man of her life. It was then that she decided to practice the most intense fast of her entire life. A fast that lasted exactly 40 days, and that was carefully documented in her personal diaries. In the book Life Sketches, Ellen White describes what happened during that fast. On the 20th day of fasting, while she prayed for James, she was caught up in vision and saw angels literally fighting against demons around her husband's bed. The battle was so intense that the very room was filled with a supernatural light. But here is the detail that is going to leave you with your mouth open. On the 40th day of Ellen White's fast, James was not only completely healed of his paralysis, but he also received his own prophetic visions and became one of the most powerful evangelists of his time. The 12 witnesses who were present that day reported that they saw a light literally coming out of James's body at the moment of his healing. And now the moment you have been waiting for has arrived. The fast that Ellen White discovered to be so powerful that it makes Satan flee immediately has 4 specific components, and if you miss any one of them, the fast becomes useless or even dangerous. First component, documented in the book The Desire of Ages, page 311, the fast of the carnal word. Ellen White discovered that we must abstain not only from physical food, but also from every word that does not edify the spirit. That means 0 complaining, 0 gossip, 0 criticism, 0 negative words during the entire fasting period. She writes, Every word that proceeds from our lips during the fast must be like incense that rises to heaven. Second component, found in the book Steps to Christ, page 97, the fast of the eyes. We must abstain from looking at anything that may defile our mind or awaken carnal desires. Ellen White was clear. During the true fast, our eyes must be fixed only on that which is holy and pure. Third component, revealed in the book Mind, Character and Personality, Volume 1, page 446, the fast of thought. We must actively reject every thought that is not centered on God. Ellen White discovered that this is the most difficult aspect of the fast, but also the most powerful. She writes, "When we succeed in completely controlling our thoughts during the fast, the heavens are opened." And here is the fourth and most crucial component, which Ellen White kept secret for years and only revealed at the end of her life: the fast of self. In the book Selected Messages, Book 3, page 374, she finally reveals that the true fast is the complete death of the ego during a specific period of time. It is as if the person literally dies to self and lives only for God. But wait, because what I'm going to tell you now will explain why this fast is so powerful against demonic forces. Ellen White discovered that when we practice these four components simultaneously, our spiritual vibration rises to such a point that demons cannot remain in our presence. It is as if we become radioactive to the kingdom of darkness, and there is more. She documented that people who practice this fast for at least 7 consecutive days develop extraordinary spiritual capacities. In the book Evangelism, page 695, she writes, "I saw men and women who practiced the true fast receiving gifts of healing, prophecy, and discernment of spirits." But here is the warning that Ellen White made sure to emphasize. This fast is not for spiritual beginners. In the book Counsels to Parents, Teachers, and Students, page 299, she warns, "The true fast must be practiced only by those who already have a mature walk with God, for it draws the attention of both heaven and hell." If you have come this far in this video, it is because God has something special prepared for your life. Subscribe to the channel and activate all notifications, because I will be revealing more secrets from the prophetic writings that can completely transform your spiritual experience. Do not miss these revelations that can mark the difference between a mediocre Christian life and an extraordinary Christian life. But I have not yet finished telling all the secrets of this fast. Ellen White discovered that there are specific times to practice the true fast, and that if you do not respect these times, the fast can even attract spiritual problems into your life. In the book Early Writings, page 71, she reveals, "I saw that there are times when fasting should not be practiced, for it may open portals which it is better to keep closed." She also discovered that there are specific foods that must be consumed before and after the fast to maximize its spiritual effects. In the book Temperance, page 115, Ellen White writes, "The preparation for the true fast is as important as the fast itself." And here is something that is going to leave you perplexed. Ellen White documented cases of people who practiced the true fast and literally saw angels with their own eyes. In the book The Ministry of Healing, page 509, she relates, "During my most prolonged fast, the angels became as real to me as the physical persons around me." But there is a crucial detail you need to know. Ellen White warned that this fast can be extremely dangerous if practiced incorrectly. In the book Selected Messages, Book 2, page 281, she writes, "I saw people who attempted to practice the true fast without proper preparation and ended up opening their minds to deceiving spirits. Therefore, if you decide to practice this fast, you must follow exactly the instructions that Ellen White left." And here is something she never publicly revealed, but which is documented in her personal diaries. There are specific prayers that must be made during each day of the fast, and these prayers function like keys that open different spiritual dimensions. On the first day of the fast, the prayer must focus on the breaking of demonic strongholds. On the second day, it must focus on the purification of the mind. On the third day, on the opening of prophetic channels, and so on until the seventh day, when the prayer must focus on spiritual sealing to protect the blessings received. Ellen White also discovered that the moon has an influence on the effectiveness of the true fast. In her personal writings, she documents the most powerful fasts should begin at the new moon, for that is when the spiritual forces are most balanced. But here is the secret she kept until the end of her life. There is a specific prayer that must be made at the exact moment the fast is broken, and that prayer determines whether the blessings received during the fast will be permanent or temporary. She writes in her diaries, "The prayer at the breaking of the fast is like a seal that marks everything that was gained in the spiritual realm." And there is more. Ellen White discovered that people who practice the true fast regularly develop such great spiritual authority that demons flee merely from their presence without the need for any verbal prayer or command. In the book The Great Controversy, page 510, she writes, "I saw saints of God whose presence was so charged with divine power that darkness simply could not draw near." Now you must be wondering, how can I begin to practice this fast? And this is where you need to be very careful, because Ellen White was clear. This fast must be preceded by at least 21 days of intense spiritual preparation. During those 21 days, you must gradually purify your mind, your words, your actions, and your thoughts. In the book Sanctification, page 54, she writes, "Those who throw themselves into the true fast without proper preparation are like soldiers entering battle without armor." But here is the promise she makes for those who practice the fast correctly. God will answer your prayers so immediately and powerfully that you will have no doubt that He has heard and granted your requests. And more than that, Satan will flee from your presence like a coward, for he will not be able to endure the glory of God that will rest upon you. If you feel that God is calling you to practice this fast, begin the 21 days of preparation today. And remember, subscribe to the channel because I will be making a complete series about the spiritual secrets that Ellen White revealed, including the specific prayers for each day of preparation and of fasting. But before closing this video, I need to tell you about the most impressive case that Ellen White documented. It was 1888, and a cholera epidemic was devastating the city where she lived. Hundreds of people were dying daily, and the doctors had given up on finding a cure. It was then that Ellen White organized a group of 40 people to practice the true fast simultaneously. What happened during that collective fast was so supernatural that it was documented by the local newspapers and even by governmental authorities. In the book Testimonies for the Church, Volume 8, she relates, "On the seventh day of our collective fast, a supernatural light appeared over our city, and from that moment on, no one else died of cholera. Even more impressive, the people who were dying from the disease were instantly healed at the very moment the light appeared." Ellen White writes, "I saw with my own eyes bodies that were on the verge of death rise from their beds completely restored. But here is the detail that is going to give you chills. Ellen White revealed that this light was not merely a physical phenomenon, but the visible manifestation of the presence of God responding to the true fast." She writes, "When a group of people practices the true fast in unity, the heavens literally open over that locality. And now the final revelation that is going to leave you without words. Ellen White prophesied that in the last days of Earth's history, God would raise up a people who would practice the true fast on a worldwide scale, and that this would result in the greatest outpouring of the Holy Spirit that humanity has ever witnessed." In the book Last Day Events, page 187, she writes, "I saw a people who fasted as never before in history, and upon them descended an anointing so powerful that demons fled from entire nations." She also revealed that this collective fast of the last days would be the event that would precipitate the second coming of Christ. When my people learn to truly fast, she writes, the heavens will move, and my son will return to gather his church. So here is my final question for you. Are you prepared to be part of this prophetic movement? Are you willing to dedicate your life to practicing the fast that makes Satan flee and that causes God to answer immediately? If your answer is yes, begin your journey of preparation today. And remember, Ellen White warned that not everyone will have the courage to practice the true fast, for it requires the complete death of the ego. But those who have this courage will be used by God in extraordinary ways in the final days of history. And do you believe that this secret has been hidden from us for so long? Do you believe that God is calling you to practice the true fast? Write, I want to know the truth in the comments if you feel that God is calling you to this spiritual journey. And if you want to receive detailed instructions about the 21 days of preparation and the specific prayers for each day of fasting, also leave in the comments that you want me to send the instructions, and I will create an exclusive video with all the details. Subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and share this video with someone who needs to know these spiritual secrets, because this may be the revelation that God uses to transform not only your life, but the life of everyone around you. Until the next video, may God bless you abundantly.